Thanks for joining us this evening on TKO8 Local News. 48-year-old Craig Allen Smith of Flippin has been formally charged with felon in possession of a firearm by a certain person following his arrest in early April by the Arkansas State Police. According to the probable cause affidavit, the vehicle that Smith was driving was stopped on State Highway 62 just outside of Yellville after it was observed that it did not have a rear view mirror. Smith was asked if he had anything on his person the trooper should be aware of. He indicated he had a knife on his hip after he emptied the contents of his pockets onto the hood of the patrol car. The trooper noticed the 3 bullets in Smith's front left pocket. The trooper then asked Smith if there was anything in the vehicle that he should know about, and in response, the Flippin man said there might be a gun in the vehicle. The trooper located a revolver inside a brown leather holster concealed in a welding sleeve underneath the driver's seat. The revolver was loaded with 5 bullets. Online records indicate Smith was charged with the same felony firearm offense back in 2015, along with leaving the scene of an accident involving personal injury or death and a misdemeanor count of public intoxication. 35-year-old John Vandervik of Yellville has been sentenced to 1 year of supervised probation on a reduced charge in connection with a domestic incident with his 70-year-old mother in late 2016. The negotiated plea agreement in the case in which Vanderkirk headbutted his mother twice indicates she requested that no contact order be waived. Vanderkirk's sentence was reduced from a felony level charge of second-degree domestic battery to a misdemeanor charge. The plea statement indicates that Vanderkirk shall undergo a screening for drug and alcohol abuse, as well as an anger management program, and comply with recommendations of those screening processes. Daniel Ray Rice has now pled guilty to charges stemming from a bizarre incident on July 10th of 2016, in which a nude Rice was reported to be attempting to break into a house, making growling sounds, talking out of his head, and swinging on a guy wire. Rice entered his plea during a session of the Baxter County Circuit Court on Thursday. It was announced that he had paid the total amount of restitution for damages he did in the victim's property during that incident. The 29-year-old Rice was sentenced to 12 months probation on misdemeanor charges, including criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and public intoxication. Well, North Arkansas College held their commencement exercises Saturday inside Pioneer Pavilion. State Senator Scott Flippo was the commencement speaker for the event. Over 209 students were in attendance to receive their diplomas. The Board of Trustees award was given to longtime instructor Dr. Clark Jenkins, and the presidential citation was given to instructor Tommy Flood. The 71st Annual Arkansas Farm Family of the Year recipients have been announced by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. The county winners will be visited by a set of judges to determine the 8 district winners, which will be announced on June the 20th. Those winners will be visited again by a different set of judges in July to determine a state winner to be announced December 6th at the Farm Family of the Year Luncheon in North Little Rock. Locally, winners include William Bladsell from Flippin, Brandon and Katria McAllister from Marshall, Carl Campbell from Harrison, and Jake Moning from Vender in Newton County. Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We'll take a look at some headline news from around the region as TKO8 News continues.
On any given day here at Main Street Service Center, we might be working on a Ford like on the 4-post lift over my shoulder, or an Infiniti that's back on the back bay, or a Toyota, or a BMW, or right here a Hyundai. You just never know what's going to come into the shop and what their needs might be. But you can rest assured that at Main Street Service Center, whatever you're driving, we can take care of it for you, whether it's oil and filter changes all the way up to engine and transmission replacements. And get this, we've been in business for 29 years, and there's still things that we can't do, and we're not too proud to say it. So if you bring us something and it's over our head or out of our capabilities of expertise or tools, we're not too proud to say it, because we want your vehicle fixed correctly, right, and the first time.
Plants, plants, and more plants. That's what you'll find at Camps Plants in Harrison. Perennials, annuals, ferns, hanging baskets, shrubs, roses, decorative trees, and the largest selection of garden vegetables in the area. With different varieties arriving weekly, you're sure to find the perfect plant, shrub, or tree at the best price in the area. Camps Plants in business for over 33 years in Harrison.
Stop in at White Oak Station on Capps Road in Harrison and fill up with Shell gasoline, the highest quality gasoline with more miles per gallon, saving you money. Sign up for the Fuel Rewards card and save 5 cents per gallon every time. Plus, get an extra 5 cents off on Razorback Wednesdays. That's a savings of 10 cents per gallon. Check out their expanded deli and hot and cold food items. Capps Road, White Oak Station, where customer service is their #1 goal.
Authorities in North Little Rock say they're now investigating the death of a 60-year-old man as a homicide. Police say officers received an emergency call about an injured person around 3:15 p.m. on Saturday and found the victim identified as Ronald Campbell with a significant injury near the boat ramp along the Arkansas River area. Authorities say that Campbell had sustained a life-threatening injury and was taken to a hospital in Little Rock, where he died a few hours later. Details about the injury were not made public. The authorities say they are still investigating Campbell's death and the city's 9th homicide so far this year. A Pocahontas pastor is now waiting trial for vandalizing a woman's car. It happened nearly 2 years ago when a Searcy woman parked in a handicap spot. Erica Jenkins says she went to her dorm and all of the parking lot places were taken. Although she said it was disabled parking, Jenkins says she parked in the handicap spot to run into the dorm room and to use the bathroom. Surveillance video shows that a man walking close to her car and then he proceeds to get into her own vehicle. According to a Searcy police report, Dennis McCarty, a pastor at the Filburn Street Church of Christ in Pocahontas, is the suspect in the case and has been charged with criminal mischief. McCarty says there are two sides to every story. He says he will have his day in court on July the 3rd. About $1,000 worth of damage was done to Jenkins' car. A second outside group that's targeted an Arkansas Supreme Court justice during her unsuccessful bid to lead the court 2 years ago is getting involved in her re-election campaign, spending $200,000 on television ads to back one of the two candidates trying to unseat her in this next month's election. The Republican State Leadership Committee says it will start running the ads this next weekend in support of David Sterling, who's running against Justice Courtney Goodson. Another group, the Judicial Crisis Network, has spent more than $160,000 to run TV ads criticizing Goodson. Arkansas regulators say they want to find new operators for 2 nursing homes amid questions about the financial stability of their parent company. The State Department of Human Services says Office of Long-Term Care Supervisors have been at the Spring Place Health and Rehab Center in the community of Hazen and the Dirks Health Rehab Center since last week. The facilities remain open, serving 39 residents in Hazen and up to 52 at the community of Dirks. The sites are owned by Skyline Health Incorporated, which operates 19 other homes and rehab centers around the state. DHS says it has been monitoring Skyline since financial problems emerged elsewhere this spring. Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota regulators have taken similar steps. The Man in Black's boyhood home has added to the National Register of Historic Places. The Arkansas Historic Preservation Program has announced that the home in Diaz, where country music icon Johnny Cash lived from age 3 through high school, has been added to the register. The 5-room farmhouse was built back in 1934 as a part of the Diaz Resettlement Colony by the Federal Emergency Relief Administration. The house is owned by Arkansas State University, which spent about $575,000 to buy, restore, furnish, and landscape the property. Before we take a look at the summer-like weather forecast as we head through the work week, here's the way the stock market ended today. Well, it took a while, but we finally have moved into the summer mode, if you will. Spring coming very late. We've had very unusual weather as we moved in even to the first part of May. Cool nights, not much rain, very cool temperatures even during the afternoon. Well, that has all changed. We had a very nice weekend, warm temperatures up into the 80s, and we had a little rain shower yesterday afternoon for parts of the viewing area, and we've had some other moisture, and looks like more to come later in the weekend, but it is definitely warming up. 86 degrees this afternoon under sunny skies, and that looks to be the norm throughout the week. Tomorrow about the same as today with partly cloudy skies, afternoon temperature around 85 degrees. On Wednesday, probably the warmest day predicted for the week. Could get 90 degrees, 89 predicted for Wednesday with partly cloudy skies. Again on Thursday, partly cloudy and 87 degrees, and Friday, mostly sunny skies and 86 degrees. Heading into the weekend on Saturday, lots of sunshine and 86, and long-range forecast for Mother's Day, which is Sunday. Don't forget that. Put it on your calendar. Looks like we may have about 40-50% chance of a few showers on Sunday, again, which is Mother's Day. A lot of activities going on, but that could change as we move on through the work week. Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We'll take a look at sports from around the region as TKO8 News continues.
Join Sammy Klein Thursdays and Fridays during the TKO8 local newscast for this week's closing livestock market report. Made possible by Quality Feed Grains of Harrison and Bellefonte. Quality Feed Grains has you covered. Everything for cattle, pets, deer, equine, poultry, seed and spray, show feed, and garden. Check their website, qualityfeedgrains.com, now for this month's special. Quality Feed Grains of Harrison and Bellefonte, proud sponsors of the Livestock Report with Sammy Klein on Harrison's broadcast station TKO Channel 8.
Summer is just around the corner, and the staff at Harness Boots and Shoes are ready with all the latest styles of tennis shoes, sandals, dress shoes, casual shoes, boots, and hiking shoes. You'll find the most popular brands such as Merrell, Birkenstock, Chaco, New Balance, and Twisted X for men, women, and children. And if you don't find the style or color you want in stock, they'll be happy to order them for you. Don't forget, $10 down will hold anything in the store on layaway. Harness Boots and Shoes on the west side of the square in beautiful downtown Harrison.
Well, Saturday's baseball and softball action included local high school teams in regional play. Omaha finished the week as champions of the Class 1A Region 1 tournament at the Equity Bank Sports Complex in Harrison. The Eagles began the day by winning the first semifinal 11-0 over Shirley. The second game ended with Lead Hill losing to Alpena 11-1. Omaha took the next game 15-9 over Alpena to take the first place trophy. Lead Hill finished in third place as they won their final game of the day, 15-8 over Shirley. Omaha's softball team also won the title in the Class 1A Region 1 tournament in Harrison. On Saturday's action began with Lead Hill beating Shirley by a score of 16-6 in the first semifinal action. The Lady Eagles took the second game 6-2 over Rural Special, and the championship game followed and ended with Lead Hill falling to Omaha by a score of 6-1. Well, the Arkansas Razorbacks nearly made a 5-run comeback Sunday afternoon, pulling within one after a 4-run seventh inning, but could never get over the hump as they, against LSU, with the bullpen shut down the Hogs to win that one 7-5 and take the series at Alex Box Stadium at LSU. Arkansas could never get a real lock on LSU starting pitcher A.J. Lambus as scoring just 1 run off of the freshman hurler in 6 innings, but then took advantage of the Tigers' first man out in the bullpen with Nick Bush in the 7th inning. 4 runs came home on just 2 hits as LSU errors were helping the cause to help the Hogs pull within a 1 run at 6-5. Unfortunately, the closest that the Razorbacks could get to the Tigers and added an insurance run at the bottom half of the 7th on an RBI single by Zach Watson for the final tally. Arkansas returns home for its final regular season series of the 2018 season at Baum Stadium when they will play host to Texas A&M for a 3-game set starting on Friday afternoon. And the University of Arkansas softball team struggled to get a timely hitting with runners on base in Sunday's 5-0 road loss at number 13 LSU. When the setback, the Razorbacks close out the 2018 regular season with a 37-14 record overall and a 12-12 mark in SEC play. Up next for the Lady Razorbacks, they turn their attention to postseason beginning next week in the SEC softball tournament, which will be played in Columbia, Missouri. Arkansas is scheduled to play Kentucky in Wednesday's first-round action. Game time is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. It'll be on the SEC network. And Dexter Fowler had a flair for the Dramatics during his 2 seasons with the Chicago Cubs, from game-winning home runs early in the first of the year at Colorado to the leadoff blast in Game 7 of the World Series in 2016. The St. Louis Cardinals outfielder was up to his old theatrics early Monday morning, putting the finishing touch on the Cardinals' sweep of the Cubs with a 2-out, 2-run home run in the bottom of the 14th inning. Fowler's game-winning lifted St. Louis to a 4-3 victory over the Chicago Cubs. The victory was the Cardinals' 5th straight, matching their season-best winning streak. And speaking of the Cardinals, catcher Yarda Milana has undergone surgery and is expected to miss at least a month after being hit in the groin by a foul-tipped ball. The Cardinals placed Milana on the 10-day disabled list on Sunday. They said the 8-time All-Star is projected to miss at least 4 weeks with what his team physician called a pelvic injury with traumatic bruising. Milana left Saturday's game against the Chicago Cubs in the 8th inning after being hit in the groin when Chris Bryant tipped one off about a 200-mile-an-hour pitch from reliever Jordan Hicks. And that wraps up our broadcast here for this evening. Thanks for joining us. Join us Monday through Friday at 6:30 and again at 10 p.m. as we continue to bring you local news, weather, sports, and local announcements from around the area on Harrison's broadcast station, TKO Channel 8. Now stay tuned for more local events around the viewing area.